On today's episode of the Fumblerooski podcast. A wild, wild week with more game of the years. I mean, script writers are at it again. It's unbelievable. 49ers, high scoring affair, winning against the Bears on Sunday Night Football. And the playoff race for both sides starting to shape up a little bit, along with a little peek at Tankathon, week 17, top three, bottom three, and a recap of Monday Night Football. This is the Fumblerooski podcast.
It may not have always showed it in the stat sheet, but you can see him making throws when he needs to make the throws.
Back-to-back games where he has 3 touchdowns. Someone's got to get that 6 or 7 spot.
He's an elite wide receiver as a rookie.
Truly a lose-lose scenario for both sides.
Welcome to the Fumblerooski podcast by Power 8018 Radio and Secret Weapon Consulting. We got all the fellas here. Adam Wright, CJ Medeiros, Justin Tucker. I'm Chris Costich. Glad for you to join us for our Tuesday episode. Man, I mean, let's just take a moment and appreciate what an amazing season this has been. It's been a weird one, like it has been the last few years, but you can make a case that this may just be the best NFL season that has ever come to be.
It's the most exciting. You could legitimately make a case that any of the, and so for some of it's an outside shot, just as any playoff picture is, but like you can make a legitimate case any of these teams in the AFC could represent in the AFC. It's unbelievable.
100%. 100%. Any of you guys want to chip in on that?
I think it goes both ways. I could see 1 through 7 both in the NFC and the AFC both contending for the Super Bowl, which is weird because the NFC West is so competitive.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the NFC, the entire NFC West, save for Arizona, is just murderer's row over there. NFC North, even though Green Bay's hurt, they're still dangerous. You got the up-and-coming Bears. Heck, even the Panthers. They beat the Rams. So they got something. And on the AFC side, Josh Allen's there. No Mahomes, no Burrow, no problem. Trevor Lawrence finally looking like the talent he should have been. You got a suffocating Denver Broncos defense out in the West. You got Drake, Maye in the AFC East. And on top of that, the best defense in the league is going to be a wild card spot.
Like you can make a case that the best team in all of football, the LA Rams, you make a case like they're the best team, but they're not even going to win their division.
And they may just be the 6th seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like unbelievable. This has been a great season. It's wide open and I love it.
Of course, we'll talk about the Rams after they take on the Falcons later on in the episode. Currently recording this. I don't have a clock in front of me, but it's 3:54 Eastern Standard Time, Monday, December 29th. But we'll start with that Bears 49ers game, or do we want to start with the Rooski game of the week? Let's do Rooski game of the week.
I saw that first, so I was putting that in.
You're good. I like it. Texans on Saturday, big start, first 2 drives, 2 big touchdowns. CJ Stroud started 4 for 4 with 142 yards. Proceeded to go 12 for 24 for 104 yards and 12 touchdowns afterwards. But in that game, those first 2 drives, you thought, wow, the Texans offense is back. They're humming. And then that happens, and they only get 6 points afterwards. But I think this says more about the Texans than it does. It doesn't, in terms of the Chargers, this doesn't affect my viewpoint of them because this is, we all know this has turned into one of the worst offensive lines in football, if not the worst. The Texans are the best defense in football, as we were talking about. You kind of figured this was going to happen. Credit to Herbert and the rest of the offense or the rest of the team for staying in the game. But evidently it came down to Dicker, the kicker, missing an extra point and a field goal. And lo and behold, those are the 4 points that decided the game. Mm-hmm. Thoughts around the table. We'll start with Adam.
Yeah, look, I think that game for the Texans was a great clarification for where they're at. The Texans, when everyone says that they're scared of the Texans, they don't mean them as a team. They mean their defense. Their defense is arguably the singular best unit, not just the best defense, best unit in all of football. a team that's just able to even produce some offense a little bit. They're able to put points on the board, produce turnovers. They are a swarming defense, but I don't know what's wrong with CJ Stroud. I mean, that's the second part of my takeaway of this game is like this kid started off his career. He looked like he was going to be one of the elite quarterbacks in this league. And he has very, very quickly fallen off to be like, he's not terrible, but you can clearly see he's not good enough for you to respect as one of those quarterbacks who can take over a game. Like you can't call this a well-rounded Texans team because their offense just can't put up enough points to win games. They have Nico Collins. I like him. And again, Stroud can put up some points sometimes, but he's so inconsistent. I don't trust him at all.
CJ?
Oh my God. This game I was so excited for that it turns into that. Adam, I'm going to echo everything you said and more. I finally thought, okay, CJ Stroud's cooking. Then CJ Stroud says, ha 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 ha, I have fooled you. I shall cook no more. And thank God for Stroud, at least, that the Texans have the best defense in the league. Because without them, they're probably not even a playoff team. They got rid of their old OC Slowick last offseason, and they replaced him with Nick Caley from the Rams of all teams. And still, they haven't figured out, I say this all the time, and I'll say it again, they haven't figured out how to recapture that rookie year magic from CJ Stroud. And look, great win for the Texans. I'll start with the positives. You know, it's a good win for them. They have a shot to win their division. Right? That's huge. But I have a take. Don't bite my head off. Okay, not a take, but just more of a something I've been pondering.
A developing take.
Yes, thank you. Have NFL defenses figured out CJ Stroud? Is this one of those? Look, I didn't want to broach the subject because I love CJ Stroud. But is this one of those times where the league gets enough film on him, figured him out, and he just has been able to adjust? It's happened before. Like, I don't think he's bad, but the fact that it's year 3 and his best year was his rookie year, that is really, really concerning. And every time, much like this game, every time where you think he's got it back, he then decides, no, he doesn't. And thank God for that defense clamping down on Justin Herbert, because the way they just completely stalled out, there's no reason the Chargers shouldn't have won that game. That was a purely like defensive, just shutting down the Chargers type of game. And as far as the Chargers themselves go, I'll save my if man rant for if the Chargers go one and done in the postseason, because I got some takes on this, but I'll give Herbert a tiny bit of credit. So as you know, they do those player introductions, right? And for every player, let's just say, Drake Maye, North Carolina, they'll show his PFF ranking, right? Such is true for all teams. And before I hand the baton off to our good friend Justin Tucker, listen to Justin Herbert's offensive line. Left tackle Austin Deculus, PFF rank 38 out of 38. Left guard Zion Johnson, PFF rank 21 out of 36. Center Bradley Bozeman, PFF rank 36 out of 36. Right guard Mekhi Becton Sr., PFF rank 36 out of 37. And right tackle Trey Pipkins III, PFF rank 35 out of 36. Now, 2 players dead last at their respective position on the offensive line. And yeah, I know that both of his tackles being out in Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt's not ideal, but there was not a thought to protect this man. Thank God for that, for the Texans at least. Otherwise, they would have blown this game.
Where do I even begin? First and foremost, congratulations to the Houston Texans. Regardless of the quarterback play that they're experiencing with CJ Stroud, they are still very much a contender in the AFC, mainly because of the defense that they have. I believe this defense can take them very far in the playoffs, because if you have a defense, you tend to travel far in the playoffs. And I think they have enough pieces around CJ Stroud to where he can get things done. I'd see it at bare minimum. 17 points would be enough for them to at least make it the divisional round and then go from there. Because I trust that defense so much. They're more than likely going to be the 5th seed, so that means they're either going to face Pittsburgh or the Ravens. I'm gonna let you know right now, we don't look particularly good on the Ravens side, and the Steelers don't look good either. So if they stay in that 5th spot, they have the potential to bare minimum make it to the divisional round and then go from there. And then the second thing is, dear God, give Justin Herbert some line help. If Bobby Hart is on your line, you're doing him a disservice. I don't know what else you need to do. I don't know if you need to pick up some guy on the waiver wire. I don't know where you need to get it. Just get it somewhere, because Justin Herbert's not going to survive this line for long enough. This man already had a banged up hand. He's going to get injured more this season. I think this team, if it was still healthy, they'd be a major contender, but this line has just been ravaged so much. I'm not sure how far they'll get, especially if they have to go against a very dangerous defense like Denver or something like that. So all things considered, good win for Houston. I think they do have the potential to represent the AFC, depending on how well CJ Stroud plays. But I'd look at the Chargers on like injuries at the worst possible time and at the worst possible positions.
Agreed on that. I think you all make great points in general. Should we talk about AFC playoff picture at this point now?
Yeah,
let's do it. Since we're on these two wildcard teams right now, the Chargers and the Texans. So everyone in both sides of the aisle have clinched a playoff spot, or 6 of the 7 needed teams have clinched a playoff spot. Of course, the Steelers and the Ravens are figuring out the North, and the Panthers and Bucks are figuring out the NFC South. So for those last playoff spots. In terms of the wild card spots for the AFC side, since we're on it, Texans now hold control of the 5 spot because they have the tiebreaker over both the Chargers and the Bills. So it's Texans, Chargers, and Bills, and the Chargers have the tiebreak over the Bill best win percentage in common games. Chargers are also 5-0 in the division, 8-3 in the conference. But it really comes down to week 18 in terms of playoff positioning now for all 3 of these teams. We're gonna probably talk a little bit about the week 18 scheduling in terms of times and whatnot later on. But Texans, they got the Colts for their final game. Jaguars have the Titans, and the Jaguars currently hold the lead in the AFC South. If the Texans win and the Jaguars lose, then the Texans will be AFC South champs, and the Jaguars would be the 5th seed, I believe. Let me double check the standings on that. But yeah, they would be the 5th seed at that point.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little interesting to see how this one plays out. But I have a strong feeling that in terms of the wild card, this is going to be it's going to hold as is. Texans 5, Chargers 6, Bills 7.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't see anything changing.
Adam, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah, this would be good as an open conversation, but I'm looking at the Chargers. I don't see them finishing any higher than the 7 seed. I think the Bills end up higher and the Chargers end up lower unless there's some sort of change. Like I favor the Broncos in their matchup against the Chargers. If not, then things shift most likely up top, since that would mean that New England would most likely overtake the Broncos as the 1 seed. But I mean, the most likely scenario is the Texans at 5 and the Bills at 6 and then the Chargers at 7. I mean, even if you could make a case that this Chargers team, when healthy, is a contender, that's when healthy. Their offensive line is just awful this year. Even the guys who were going into this year who were healthy, who we were expecting to get big performances out of, they haven't been good either. Like, I really loved Mekhi Becton in this free agency class. I wanted him to become a Patriot. I'm kind of glad they didn't make him like that. It's just, there's something going on in Philly that makes offensive linemen that good. But I would look at, there's a lot of wild card teams here that could very easily end up advancing to the next round, particularly Buffalo and Houston. Like, let's do the path math right here. If it's Buffalo at the 6th seed, then that means they get the Jaguars.
That's a tough matchup.
In Jacksonville.
Especially with the way Trevor Lawrence is playing right now. That's a tough matchup.
And you don't think Josh Allen can take over game? I think that's a game that the Bills can win.
I think he can, but the problem is you get games like we just watched against Philly where he ends up feeling like he has to take over or has to make the big play and ends up losing 16 yards and takes the team out of field goal range. So I think that, but that's also the good and bad of having a guy like Josh Allen in the team that you've constructed.
But do you think the Jaguars are actually capable of making those same, like, being able to capitalize on mistakes like that?
Yes.
Whereas Philly's a little more seasoned in big games like that. Like they've been there and done that over the years. The Jaguars are kind of just on the up and up. I don't really trust them in postseason games. I really don't.
I mean,
Trevor Lawrence
does have a win.
Took down the Kansas City Chiefs in the middle of their dynasty, and before that came back down, what was it, 27 points against the Chargers in that wild card round?
But
that was the Chargers. Those are the other big great playoff chokers.
Yeah.
But like, my point is the same. Even if you make a case that the Jaguars can beat the Bills can also beat the Jaguars.
Yes.
Very, very easily. And it's the same thing with Houston. In fact, I would favor them over whoever comes out of the AFC North.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm still going to pick the Ravens, of course, but I'm not going to lie and tell you that I'm like confident we'll beat the Houston Texans after what they did to us. I'm not confident, but I still think we can beat them. This is going to be a very interesting playoff race. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Adam, by the way, I'm glad that you mentioned Chargers going to 7 because I completely forgot that they're playing Denver week 18. So I retract what I said. I'm going to go on Adam's take, recorrect myself.
I still think the Chargers have a chance to win that game. I just think Denver deserves to be favored. Like the Chargers are having some issues on their offensive line. Denver has an amazing front seven. In fact, they're chasing the 84 Bears in the single season team sack record.
Yeah.
So any team that has to go into Denver this postseason, just a developing take of mine that I'll probably need some more time to think on. The team that will come out of the AFC, I believe, will be the Bills or whoever takes the 1 seed, which boils down to whether New England or Denver takes it,
or the Jags,
or the Jaguars.
They have like a very
actually need the
path
and the Jags to both lose.
Yeah, but it's still
or the Pats and the Broncos. I mean, sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, the Jaguars might get it, but I just think it's an outside shot. And also I don't think Jacksonville has all that good of a home field advantage. Like they play down south, but it's not the same as South Beach over in Miami. That's a spot where it's like, if you're a cold weather team, you have to go in there and win a game. New England, it's always a hard place to play. But I mean, when I refer to whoever wins the 1 seed, I'm talking about New England or Denver. And the only teams that can go into either of those spots, the only team that I think they can go into either of those spots legitimately late in the postseason and win, I think is Buffalo. And then the only team that's really been able to stop Buffalo in the last half decade, outside of that one Cincinnati year, has been Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they're gone. So the only guy with any real postseason seasoning that we have here is Allen.
unless either Rodgers or Lamar make it into the playoffs.
Right. Which, I mean, who do
Not
you take?
expecting them to go
that?
far, but I'm saying that's what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Anything else we want to touch? I haven't heard CJ talk a whole lot during this segment. Anything else you want to touch on?
No, I think you're right. It's just, I've said this before, but I'm going to reiterate it. Adam's take about the Bills is correct, but it's also a double-edged sword. I said this before, and I feel like I need to say it again for all the Bills fans that may or may not listen. Mahomes has been the only one to beat you. If you do not make it out of the AFC, I don't think you ever will. This year for Buffalo, I don't care if they're wild cards. As long as they have Allen, they have a shot because Allen just goes God mode and can take over games. So if you don't win this year without Burrow and without Mahomes in the playoffs, what assurances do I have that you're ever going to do it? In fact, I'm willing to go a step further. If the Bills season does not end with the Lombardi Trophy, heads need to roll. Specifically, Sean McDermott. I'd be open to canning Brandon Beane as well for them as a Pats fan. But
Should be more than that, but yeah.
Yeah, no. But like heads have to roll because statistically, and even like in the playoffs, is Allen? Yeah, we can clown Allen for that really awful pass on the 2-point conversion. But really, is Allen really the problem here? You already know that I do not like Sean McDermott as a head coach. I think he's overrated, and I think the relationship between him and Josh Allen is akin to Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy. So if you don't win this season, what assurances do we have that you're ever going to? Because Chiefs are gone from your path, but they're also gone from your excuses. I don't even care if they go to the Super Bowl and lose. Anything short of winning, McDermott and probably Bean have to go. If I'm owner Terry Pagula, I'm sitting both of them down and saying, you are GMing and coaching for your job. Like, get it done. Because you have been gifted such, I won't say an easy path, but a manageable path. You split with New England. You can beat them, but they've also shown they can beat you. The Jaguars, who knows what they are? They're chaos incarnate. The Broncos, they were looking good until the Jags came in and beat them. So Denver's beatable, and you beat them last year, but Bo Nix isn't a rookie anymore. The Texans are half of a team. We don't take the AFC North seriously. No offense, Tuck. And the Chargers are powered by If Man, of all people. So you have the most experience. I mean, as far as quarterbacks go. So, like, if you don't get it done this year, then changes have to be made. McDermott's got to go, and probably Bean as well.
CJ, it's a matter of whether or not something will happen, though, because what you're mentioning isn't just an organizational issue; it's a league-wide issue. When you look at a coach like John Harbaugh, an elite quarterback like Lamar Jackson is making him look better as a head coach. They're winning so many games. Back when the Bengals were winning, when they were making it to AFC championships and going to Super Bowls, Joe Burrow has made him look better. And then the injury issues come up on top of that. And therefore, they're injured. It's not Zach Taylor's fault. The league has an issue with the quarterbacks making the coaches look much better.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps them around longer than they're supposed to be. It happened earlier it's happened a lot earlier into the previous generations. Aaron Rodgers, do you think Mike McCarthy would have been a head coach for as long as he was if he didn't have Aaron Rodgers on the Packers?
Absolutely.
And then after that, Jason Garrett with Tony Romo, and then Dak Prescott afterwards, and also Dak Prescott with Mike McCarthy afterwards again, because the league is just fooled into thinking he's a good coach. Like, it just you get coaches like this who are like, you have to marry them together because they're winning, and you don't want to be that one organization that penalizes a head coach for winning. And that's a league-wide issue. The NBA doesn't have this issue. The NBA does not have this issue. It has the opposite. They love to can their head coaches after a lot of things.
Yeah, the NBA We could go
That's
on.
a whole different.
That's a whole
Yeah,
different.
I'm not
we could
saying
really
I
go on about
disagree.
that.
That's just a whole other can of worms. But no. You've got a point. I definitely agree. It's just if you're a Bills fan, even if Allen, like I said, like on that 2-point play, can be mortal sometimes. When do you say enough's enough and just say, all right, Sean McDermott's not the guy? And I know you're really scared, but think about it this way. If you, as the Bills, are the head coach vacancy, you're probably the sexiest spot to go to because you have Josh Allen. So I'm not going to say you can only improve, but you could pretty much get any coordinator you want to be your next head coach.
Yeah, listen, I think the point I'm bringing up, I guess, when I bring up that this is a league-wide issue is that I think the Bills have just won too many games. They've done too well this season, and they're at the point they're going to make the playoffs. They'll probably win a playoff game. And once you get to that point, then the owner is going to look at this and say, well, I mean, they did the most with what they had, even though when you look closer, they kind of put themselves in that spot. So it's
My thing is this: we look at Josh Allen in a certain light. Like the reason he hasn't gone further than where he's at, the reason he doesn't have like multiple Super Bowls, is because of Mahomes. If he loses to any of these teams in the playoffs, because Mahomes and Andy Reid aren't here anymore, especially if he loses as the 6th seed to the Jags, who we're assuming that's going to be the matchup, it's no longer a Mahomes issue. We'd have to look at him in a new light and look at him and be like, why can't you get it done in the playoffs when it matters?
It kind of depends on the stats too, because when they go at it, Allen plays well. Just usually the defense lets him down, or his receivers, tend to disappear. But it all depends on that. But yeah, no, there have been times where Allen, especially against the Chiefs, has gotten the ball in his hands and has done nothing. You have a point, and I understand why you say that. But once again, like it's just going to depend on like just how well he plays, because usually he plays well until like the final drive when they need him most, and then it's just like 4th down, not converting.
I'm unfortunately going to shut this down now since we've been at this for nearly half an hour. But
I was going to say,
hell of a conversation though. That was good. I had one more thing, but that can be for Friday's episode. We'll step aside. We'll get into the NFC playoff picture. More specifically, talk about the Bears 49ers Sunday night football game. What a game. This is the Fumblerooski podcast.
It may not have always showed it in the stat sheet, but you can see him making throws when he needs to make the throws.
Back-to-back games where he has 3 touchdowns. Someone's got to get that 6 or 7 spot.
He's an elite wide receiver as a rookie.
Truly a lose-lose scenario for both sides.
Welcome back to the Fumblerooski podcast. Let's get into the NFC side of things, starting with the 49ers beating the Bears in a high-scoring affair, 42-38. Whew. Cardiac Bears are at it again, dude. Oh, my goodness. Like, never mind that. But this is kind of what I was talking about at the top of the show, where it just feels like every week this season there's been, at minimum, 2 Game of the Year candidates. It's unbelievable. And this, more importantly, too. Seemed like the Niners were... I felt like the Niners at some point were going to pull away big, but the Bears were right there every single time. Brock Purdy had 5 touchdowns, and I think he's finally starting to shut down the Brock Purdy primetime criticism as of right now. 2 rushing touchdowns is insane. 5 total. That's Josh Allen numbers right there. He had a great game. Ricky Pearsall went off. Jake Tongas in for George Kittle. He had 7 catches. On the other side for the Bears, Caleb Williams went off again in another game where the Bears kept him clean, no sacks. DeAndre Swift had 2 touchdowns. Luther Burden with 8 catches with no Rome Odunze for the 4th week in a row. The Bears offense is humming, but the 49ers is also that good, even without Frank Warner and Nick Bosa. I'm still a little skeptical of the defense a little bit just because of some of these games. But by God, they 49, like we were talking about this earlier too. Like 49ers are another team that can make a Super Bowl run. And if you're the Bears, you can't take this loss and be like, oh, we suck, like da. Like this is another game where they competed with a top dog in the league. That's all you can really say about it. Let's go other way around the table on this one. Tuck, your thoughts.
This really might have been. There's been several games where we could say this might be game of the. This game is another contender for game of the year. Holy shit! What a game! It started off with a pick six. I'm thinking, oh no, Brock Purdy, the curse is here once again. He can't perform in prime time. He then responds with a touchdown. I think the Bears stall out, and then they score a touchdown, 14-7, and then the Bears score again, then the Niners score, and then the Bears score again. It was just a back-and-forth, nonstop scoring affair. It was 21-21 by the end of the first half. I'm like, oh my God, is this going to stop? The answer is no. The 49ers respond and score a touchdown. Caleb Williams says, I'm not done, and goes down the field and scores. And then the 49ers score again, and then DeAndre Swift scores again. I'm like, are they going to stop anytime soon? And then Brock Purdy said, I got this. Throws it to Jaron Jennings for what would be the game-winning touchdown. But the Bears, they made it interesting. Caleb Williams was dotting them going down the field. Luther Burden came up with some clutch catches, even though he dropped one, which almost cost them the game. Jacob Loveland did the same thing as well, but Luther Burden came up clutch in this game, and I think he's going to get much more more playing time as the season goes down, especially with the injuries to Rome Odunze. And I'm not sure about DJ Moore right now, even though he played. I'm just not sure. I think Luther Burden is taking steps up. But it came down to the final throw of the game, and I was thinking to myself, Caleb might actually do it. I'm thinking Caleb might actually pull this one off. But unfortunately, he didn't. He wasn't able to pull off the miracle throw in the end. The 49ers won this one in a thriller. Congratulations to the 49ers. They played their ass off. But I think this is a game that we might see again in the playoffs. I hope we see this again in the playoffs because of how good this one was. But it might actually be in Chicago. So congratulations to the 49ers, but I'm not sure they'll be so lucky if they play the Bears again, if it's in Chicago. But very good game. You're mute.
CJ.
How crazy was this game, you might ask? It was tied at 5 different points. At one point, it was 7-7, 14-14, 21-21, 28-28, and 35-35. I know we say it every week about every other game, but this just might be game of the year. This had everything you want. Offense, mostly just offense, heartbreak, lead changes, ties, coming down to the final throw. That's what you live for. Unless you're a fan of either of those teams, then you've aged 10 years. Oh my God, I hate to see the insurance premiums in the state of Illinois right now, considering the fact, that nickname they've gotten, the Cardiac Bears. Pretty apt considering the fact every game, they just can't seem to put anyone away. It's just like it's a down to the wire nail biter that ages you up 10 years. And this is the downside of that, where they were winning, but you can also see sometimes it'll go the other way. I'm definitely rooting for a rematch if they happen to cross paths in the playoffs. That would be super. But in the meantime, I gotta say congrats to the Niners. For the Bears, hey, just take it in stride. I'm sure they'll be fine. But this game, a lot of people aren't gonna like this, but I'm just gonna say it. Can the Brock Purdy hate just die now? Because his entire career, it's just, system quarterback relies on his weapons. Well, he had a banged up Christian McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings, Jake Tonjes, and went toe-to-toe with the Bears and won. Like back-to-back games with 5 total touchdowns. I'm not going to say the system QB allegations are dead, but they're on life support. And the thing is, the only reason that this game is even that close is because the entire Niners defense is injured. They were saying at multiple points throughout the game how Yomodor Lenore, their corner, one, and then like everyone else is like a second and third stringer. That's the one thing that worries me about the Niners, just how banged up they are on the defensive side of the ball. And I know injuries happen, but when like a whole quarter of your salary cap is on IR and not coming back, I might add, that's kind of a problem. Just imagine how scary they'd be at full health. But either way, for the Niners, great win. You've proven you belonged in the playoffs. And for the Bears, just, yeah, it sucks, but you played your heart out. And you're also going to the playoffs. So maybe they meet again in Soldier Field. Will it be different? We'll have to wait.
Adam?
This game was like that old McDonald's ad where it was like between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and they're playing horse around the basketball arena, and they're just making all these crazy shots, and like they're just waiting on who's gonna blink first. It's like just one of those classic commercials. If you guys recognize that, it was kind of like that between Brock Purdy and Caleb Williams. They were just going back and forth. I almost made a post about it before I kind of got lost in the Patriots edit that we put on the social media page, but it was kind of like that sort of game in the sense that it was a straight shootout. And listen, I think it gets to a point where I love scoring, but I also think there's a little bit of a happy medium that you want here where there is a little defense where teams have to really fight to get those points. It felt like you didn't really need to do that. There wasn't much defense in this game, which means the Bears defense was a little bit of a disappointment. As far as Brock Purdy goes, look, I've been one of those who does criticize Brock Purdy a lot. I still think he's a solid quarterback. I just don't think he's one of the league's elite. I think, Chris, you and I used to go back and forth on this all the time about Brock Purdy. I think he's a solid quarterback, but I also think two things can be true at once. When you have a system in San Francisco where you can have a lot of different quarterbacks who are at least solid, who can still win you games. You had Mac Jones, who played really solid ball. You had Jimmy Garoppolo, who played really good ball for him. And Brock Purdy's played the best out of them. That's not a coincidence. All I'm saying is Kyle Shanahan, as a head coach, as an offensive mind, is a superstar. And what I compare Kyle Shanahan is to Andy Reid in his earlier days. Andy Reid's always had subpar to decent to really good quarterback play, and he's always been able to stay competitive and win playoff games, but he's never been able to quite get over the hump. Then he got his superstar quarterback, and that's when things absolutely exploded. I like Brock Purdy. I just don't think he's at the level of stardom. And I think Kyle Shanahan really needs that in order for him to really beat those playoff choker allegations. Because if you remember, Andy Reid kind of had that as well, where it's like he wasn't able to get over the hump. He had some sort of issue that would happen late in playoff games, late in playoff runs. It's like he can't do it at the big stage. Again, he was a quarterback away, it turns out. And now he's one of the best. He's considered one of the best coaches the game has ever seen. I think it's the same thing with Kyle Shanahan. I like Brock Purdy. I also don't think he's the guy for them. Is that good enough, CJ? Did I piss you off at all with that one? Because I know that you kind of went against my take, but I feel like I tried to be as fair as I possibly could.
No, it's one of those things where I think there's a middle ground between the guy and system quarterback. Then there's this area where that's Brock Purdy.
Agreed.
Yeah, because I think we're getting points to Brock Purdy's career now where it's like, all right, like he's playing like he's the guy, right? Like he's playing like he's going to be the guy for the next 10 years or whatever. I'm trying to do math from when he first started, but say the next 10 years.
2022.
So that would be actually pretty accurate on my part.
All I'm saying is that I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
No,
to cut you off.
you're good.
Like 7-4 with Mac Jones, you did with you don't have Deebo Samuel anymore. You traded him away. No Brandon Ayuk, he's a disaster. George Kittle's been in and out of the lineup. He was gone for most of the first half of the season, and you somehow managed to make that work. That guy sucks. I'm just saying, you give credit where credit is due.
Oh yeah,
Kyle Shanahan is a superstar head coach.
100%. No, there's no disagreeing with that at all. By the way, I don't think we ever really talked about the Brandon Ayuk shit. He's especially because like a couple weeks ago, Kyle Shanahan's like, yeah, we haven't seen him in a month. Oh, and then he posts a video of himself like doing 90 past Levi Stadium. Like, what's going on here?
I mean, you saw the reports that they're basically about to get rid of him.
I'm
pretty sure he's off the team already.
Yeah. Like Kyle Shanahan basically said that in a press conference. Like, when was it? Like 2 weeks ago?
It was a while ago. This happened through this season has been so crazy. We haven't even been able to cover it. And they lost all their weapons, and Kyle Shanahan still turned it into a team that very well could end up with the 1 seed. In fact, with Sam Darnold, I can make a case here. With how Sam Darnold plays in big moments, you could say that the 49ers are probably going to get the 1 seed. That last game that he played where he overtook the Rams in that one game, that was the first game that he actually played well in. That was a big game. He's always had issues with that. So, I mean, the 49ers are right there. They don't have much to work with. And somehow Kyle Shanahan has made it work. Some way, somehow, Kyle Shanahan's very young. One day he's going to end up with a superstar quarterback. And we're going to look at Shanahan the same way we're looking at Andy Reid.
Got a little breaking news for the boys. Nothing crazy. It's just week 18 stuff. Chargers resting their starters.
I just saw that.
Huh.
All
Chargers resting their starters against the Broncos. So there go. So
get ready to learn 2 seed New England.
Yep. That's so basically
we're getting the Chargers week 1.
Yeah. That being said, that basically sews up what the AFC is going to look like. Because so it's going to be Broncos, Pats, Jags or Texans, Steelers or Ravens, and then the loser of the Texans Jags game, Bills and Chargers. So the Chargers, I guess they're just content with dropping to the 7th seed
they're not.
Oh, let's go play New England. Well, let's go to New England.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the NFC playoff picture, though. NFC North is if the Bears hadn't clinched the NFC North with the Packers losing to Baltimore on Saturday night, then this loss probably would sting a lot more. But thankfully for them, they got the division clinched up because of their win against Philly earlier this year as well. On Black Friday, they still hold the 2 spot, with Philly holding the 3 spot. South and West divisions are still up for grabs, as we were talking about. The Niners and Seahawks, they're going to be prime time on Saturday night, week 18, to battle for the NFC South and the 1 seed. The Rams, we were talking about this earlier before the show, just to clarify some things. The Rams have no shot of winning the NFC West. There's just, they don't have a better conference record than the Niners or the Seahawks. The Niners have a better conference record than both of those teams. They also have a better division record than both of those teams. So it's the Rams, who were in the driver's seat for the majority of the season, is now going to, or on the verge of finishing 3rd in the division and being the 6th seed. By the way, Packers locked into the 7th seed. They're not moving out of that spot. Also expect them to rest their starters. And then before the Seahawks and Niners game will be the Panthers and Bucks to play for the NFC South title, which, I mean, I heard a really funny take right after, I think, the 1 o'clock slate, maybe after 4 o'clock. And I forget if it was CBS or Fox that were talking about it, and they were like, gee, I mean, you look at the NFC South and you're thinking the Saints are the best team in the division. They got eliminated a month ago, which is perfectly explains the NFC South right now. So should be interesting to see how this next week plays out. And of course, we'll get more news on who's resting, who's not, in terms of the rest of the playoff picture. But it's pretty cut and dry in terms of the picture, to say the least. Maybe if the Rams win and the Niners lose, then they would flip spots, obviously. But that would really be it.
I mean, look, again, we talked about this earlier. We can argue that the Rams are the best team in this conference, and they're not even going to end up winning the division. They might even finish third. An outside shot, but it could happen. I might favor the 49ers just because they've been there and done that. The Seahawks, even as a franchise, haven't really been knocking at the door like this in a very long time. Probably not since 2014, right? I mean, it's been a long time since they've been vying for the 1 seed. And the 49ers have been doing it for years. I mean, how many times have they made the conference championship? How many times have they made the Super Bowl?
3 or 4. I mean,
3 or 4,
conference
and then twice the
Just
Super
in
Bowl.
the last half decade, going back to 2019, then 21, then 22.
23.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting there all the time. It's just, I just think Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, they've all been there and done that. I know the 49ers have looked a lot shakier than the Seahawks during this regular season, but the playoffs is a different animal. And once we start playing for playoff seeding this late in the season, it's basically an extension of the postseason. Like, that's when you start to see some quarterbacks, some other teams kind of crack under pressure. I'm not convinced by the Seahawks just yet. That one Thursday night game was a positive sign for them, but it's just one game. I've seen way too much of Sam Darnold choking for me to actually trust him.
My problem is with the 49ers. It's not a big one, but it's something we need to be cognizant of. If they finish up as the 5 seed, they would have to go up against the 4 seed. It could be Carolina. Brock Purdy wants nothing to do with Carolina. He wants nothing to do with that. I saw that game. He wants nothing to do with Michael Jackson. He wants nothing to do with J.C. Horn. He wants nothing to do with Derek Brown. He played god-awful, and they should have lost that game. This shouldn't even be a conversation. So for me, I think the 49ers, due to playoff experience, are always going to be a threat when it comes to the playoffs. But this is a matchup nightmare for them if the 49ers play against the Carolina Panthers again. Because I just think it's going to be a struggle for them to move the ball. And if Brock Purdy is not careful with the ball, this game can get out of hand very quickly, especially if it's in Carolina with momentum.
Adam, you look like you want to say something.
I mean, if the 49ers get the 1 seed, then they don't have to worry about Carolina.
But that's if they beat the Seahawks. I'm not sure they can beat them. The way that the Seahawks look right now, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a good matchup, but I think the Seattle Seahawks can win this game.
So
let's say the Friday takes for Friday. How about that?
Fair enough.
Let me just ask this, because I don't know if I don't know if I'll end up being on the show. Tell me what the factor would be, offense or defense, that really has Brock Purdy with his head spinning. Like, is it the defense or the offense that really takes out the 49ers?
If Sam Darnold shows up in the second half like he did against the Rams, I think it's the offense. If he plays like the second half Sam Darnold against the 49ers, if he plays like that, that's the problem.
See, that's the problem though, because I don't have that trust that we're going to get that form of Sam Darnold, because we really haven't seen that. We've seen that once And it was a random Thursday night game where, yeah, he played well at the end. But, I mean, every single time that besides that one game, that we have seen Sam Darnold under any sort of pressure against a competitive team, he cracks. Every single time. It happened last year. It happened this year a couple of times. He is a shell of himself when he faces tough opponents. And I don't know if the 49ers are going to give him any inch.
We'll see. I trust the Seattle Seahawks offense to give him chances. Not sure he'll take them, but I think they'll give him chances.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see how Saturday plays out. And, well, it's week 18. And God bless the fact that, or CJ, wait, did we get to him? Oh,
No.
He's just been sitting there so patiently like a good boy. I'm sorry.
Hey, whoa, pause there, Diddy. Let's calm down. All right. So anyway, what? No, Adam, they're not going to censor us. No one's going to care. No, just trust me on this.
Give your take.
I could have said worse. Huh?
Never mind. Go.
Oh, no. If anything, 50 Cent would support this, so it's fine. Well, thank you, Chris. So, Bears clinched North. That's cool and all. NFC West, I just love that it's finally going to, come down to, I always love when there's a division where it's just like an all the marbles type thing, winner take all. That's going to be something. I might question both teams, for the Seahawks, it's what Sam Darnold are we going to get? Because, look, he beat the Rams. That's super impressive, but I am old enough to remember when he was on the Vikings and had 2 do-or-die games, and he died both times. But as for the Niners, that defense is playing, like I said, second and third stringers, except for, Diomedor Lenore and another, 2 dudes on their defensive line. That entire defense is just, gone. And got to remember, they were already rated the previous offseason. And now it's gotten worse. But, hey, Purdy's, back-to-back 5 total touchdown games. Give him his flowers, give him props where it's due. That's definitely going to be something interesting to watch. South Division's up for grabs. I just – when we like to talk about head coaches on the hot seat, who should be fired, who shouldn't. It is my firm belief that it's time to throw Todd Bowles into that category.
I agree.
I've
I'm
never
all
been
in.
a huge fan of his. I like his defenses as a coordinator, but how do you have Baker Mayfield? I know Baker's been banged up with their injuries, but you have all that talent and still you underachieve. I'm starting to wonder if Dave Canales and Liam Cohen were the real driving forces behind those offenses. Well, I love Baker. I think there's a special place for him in this league. Mike Evans, of course, is good. Godwin's, he's not healthy this year, but when he's good, he's there. Egbuka looked so good the first half of the year, and then he just completely disappeared. But the fact, and well, you can say injuries all you want, but even when the defense, which is Todd Bowles' bread and butter, completely collapses with nowhere near the injury luck of, or the bad injury luck of the offense, that screams coaching. And for the Panthers, they're just not as talented as the Bucs on paper. And if they miss the playoffs, you can't fire Canales. I think he's doing great work there. And then, of course, the East, Philly, we know that. But right now, like I said, we have 2 winner-take-all games. You got Bucs, Panthers, and Niners, Seahawks. And it's like watching a heavyweight matchup in the West and then that South Park cripple fight meme in the South.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, Adam, what you got?
Yeah, I have a question for CJ.
Yo.
So now that, because we're on the topic of the Buccaneers and the Panthers, we loved Emeka Egbuka during the draft process.
Mm-hmm.
We hated Teteroa McMillan during the draft process.
Uh-huh.
You guys hated him. I loved him.
I would like to get an update from you as far as what went right for McMillan so that for him to end up becoming the better prospect between the two of them.
Better
because
prospect.
McMillan.
Hold
Don't talk. Just hold up. Adam asked me the question. You know why he did, Tuck? Do you know why?
Why?
Because you know who I am. That's
Just
all I'm
answer the
saying.
damn question.
All
You know
right,
how
fine.
much of a big draft
Okay,
is.
so look, what went wrong for I'll start with Igbuka. We know what he has, and I still think his ceiling is higher than McMillan. He's faster, he's got better hands, but the problem is he just disappeared because Evans came back, Godwin came back. We said Igbuka was going to be wide receiver 3. He just became wide receiver 3 later than we thought. He's just not getting targeted as much. That's really like the problem. And I know one of my buddies had him in fantasy, and you could see like his production just immediately nosedive. And that's really what it was. Honestly, I still think he's got the potential. It's just as the injuries started piling up, and even he himself was banged up. But so that kind of gave him a window to be better. But when Evans came back and now that Godwin's getting healthy, his ass is going right back to the wide receiver 3 projection. McMillan, he's pretty much Bryce Young's first and only option. He was better than what I thought he was, but you've got look whose competition is. You've got the IRL version of Boomhauer from King of the Hill and Xavier Legette, who, if you get that reference, God bless you, who's just shown practically nothing, and Holy Cross legend Jalen Coker. Yeah, Chris, I know you're happy with that.
Great pull.
But the thing is, I won't say McMillan's being force-fed, but yeah, he kind of is, because he's like obviously the most reliable target. He's got the good chemistry with Bryce Young. I want to see if he can keep it up. But yeah, no, I'll admit it. Yeah, I was wrong. I was worried about his speed, but hey, who cares? Like when he's just win and jump ball situations, and you gotta like that really, because he's pretty much. It's a tale of two options. McMillan's practically Bryce Young's only option, whereas Igbuka's option number 3.
All right. I want to jump in real quick with a bit of a blind resume before we move on. Both Igbuka and McMillan need at least 70 yards to break 1,000 this season. All right. Yeah. They are both 18th and 19th in receiving yards on the season. Here's wide receiver number 1. 62 catches, 930 yards, 6 touchdowns. Wide receiver 2, 66 catches on 8 less targets, 929 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Wide receiver 1 is Emeka Egbuka, and wide receiver 2 is Ted McMillan.
I'm taking Emeka because the yards per reception is 15.
Yeah, he's got more rack opportunities as well. I'm still tilting towards him, but once again, just being wide receiver 3, you're practically with that talent, like they're practically stuck in hell. It's kind of like, I'm not making any direct comparisons, but the room itself is similar to peak Cincinnati when their Super Bowl window was open for a bit and they had Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. I'm not saying Igbuka's any one of them, but it's just like, where you've essentially got 3 number 1s. But yeah, someone's got to eat, and someone's going to eat less. Such is the nature of the game, unless, of course, you pass every throw, or pass every down, which no one does.
Yeah.
All right. The target share I didn't realize was so bad as far as both of them. Like they're getting. I mean, Igbuka is being targeted 120 times this season, 62 receptions. He's barely catching half of the passes that he's getting. It's the same thing with McMillan. I mean, it seems like both of them are getting force-fed. 66 catches on 116 targets.
Yeah, but a lot of that with Igbuka happened earlier in the season. Like, he's not getting it doesn't seem like, at least according to the eye test, I could be wrong, that he hasn't been being targeted as much. They've kind of like gone in opposite directions. At least that's how it seems.
Yeah. Target share in the last 2 games, 7. The 3 games prior to that, 7, 9, and 8.
For Igbuka?
For Igbuka.
So it's not bad, but it's not like wide receiver one either.
On the Tet side, he only had 4 targets this week, only 1 catch. Against Tampa 2 weeks ago, 10 targets, but the prior, but he had 11 targets, 13 targets total in the 3 games prior to that Tampa game.
This is just weird, man. I got no idea what the fucking.
It's year one. It's year one for these guys. And the fact of the matter is they're both very good wide receivers. I like them both. I like Igbuka's breakaway speed. I love Tick McMillan's catch radius. And I think that's a good way to wrap that up.
Imagine if you combined the two of them.
You basically have Randy Moss, dude.
That's Julio Jones we're talking about. That's.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into a quick Tankathon update, and then we'll do a Monday Night Football recap with Week 17 top 3, bottom 3.
It may not have always showed it in the stat sheet, but you can see him making throws when he needs to make the throws.
Back-to-back games where he has 3 touchdowns. Someone's got to get that 6 or 7 spot.
He's an elite wide receiver as a rookie.
Truly a lose-lose scenario for both sides.
Start getting into Tankathon. Tankathon, baby. With the loss, the Vegas Raiders now hold the number 1 pick. The Giants are at number 2, the Jets at 3, Titans at 4, and the Cardinals at 5. So at the moment, looking at the Tankathon mock draft, Fernando Mendoza is projected to be the number 1 overall pick to go to the Raiders. And also some Tankathon breaking news for in terms of future coaches that could be hired by the Giants. Marcus Freeman of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish said he's all set. He's sticking with the Irish for next season.
All of them to assume he had a choice.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're at right now in terms of this, but picks 2 through 5. Really 2 through 7 could all be up in the air for this final week. The Raiders are playing the Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 5.5 in that game. Chiefs are probably going to end up winning it because Geno Smith, pretty sure, is hurt. But that's what we're looking at. Anything we want to touch on for Tankathon?
Yeah. Did anyone see that fight?
The fight.
Yeah, I saw that fight. That's
It was a
well
fight.
out of bounds, and he's throwing him into a cooler. It's
Yeah.
what are we getting passionate about there? Like what? Both your seasons are over. You're basically
They yearn, Adam. They yearn for the first overall pick.
It's not that. It's just being a gunner is not the easiest thing. So when you get shoved out of bounds and then continually shoved towards the sideline, it's not exactly the most pleasant of things.
Yeah.
So punches get thrown.
Yeah. Jets took a 42-10 loss to the Patriots. Right now they're at the 3 spot. Their projected first round pick is Dante Moore, quarterback out of Oregon. If you're wondering about the Giants, Arvil Reese, linebacker out of Ohio State. But the Raiders are in an interesting spot, especially coming into this week. And pretty much right before Christmas Day, on Christmas Eve, maybe it was Tuesday, I forget, but Brock Bowers gets put on IR. After their loss on Sunday, the Raider, Max Crosby said, I'm not hip with this tanking number 1 picks thing. Like, I want to play. And he had been dealing with this knee injury since October, and the Raiders informed him that they were shutting him down for the rest of the season. And afterwards came out that he's going to be getting a meniscus trim. So the Raiders shut him down. Max Crosby's all pissed off. One of a million, of course, players that get pissed off over something. And this is one to get pissed off over. And so he storms out. He's all mad. Nothing's going to come of it. Crosby's a Raider.
Until he gets traded.
Until he gets traded.
Well, did you see did you see that where he posted on it all over his social media, him playing basketball, shooting around, dribbling and jumping on the trampoline and stuff on the day of game? That dude's pissed.
Oh, yeah. I'd be pissed too. I'd be pissed too. Because Lord knows, like, what kind of incentives he probably had on his contract that he was probably going to meet in the final 2 games.
Yeah.
Well, like, so while we're on this whole tankathon issue, if I'm one of the other teams that gets one of the top picks in this draft, and let's say, because I am getting worried about Jaxson Dart on the Giants, I am getting a little worried. Let's say they make him available, and the Giants are trying to trade up and draft Fernando Mendoza. If I'm one of those teams, I'm taking advantage of that. I would absolutely take advantage of that. Jaxson Dart might be better than anything in this draft class as far as quarterbacks go. And if the Giants are dumb enough to get rid of him, to give up on him after just 1 year, just because they have a new administration, essentially, you should definitely jump on that.
I don't think you can. No. I don't think you can. I mean, if you're willing to trade out of the 2 spot for someone that's quarterback needy and wants to go after Mendoza or more, then sure. I don't think the Giants are that dumb to give up on Dart.
Well, I'm just telling you, if that does happen, if you're one of those other teams, like you'd probably get, if you're getting Jaxson Dart, you're probably getting their first out of it as well. So it's basically a 2-for-1 deal. You're probably getting more, because once you start getting up to that like 1, 2, 3 spot, and depending on how far down the Giants are,
That depends on if Moore wants to come out in the draft. He still might come back to school.
Yeah, that's true. Because he is
He's very young.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, there's
Obviously-
a lot of rumors that he won't, and if he doesn't, then it's practically just Mendoza, and maybe you see Ty Simpson's draft
Yeah.
stock artificially skyrocket because demand will be created in some.
All I'm saying is this: he's Dante Moore supposed to go 3rd to the Jets. Do y'all honestly trust the Jets to produce a quality quarterback?
No.
I don't either. So I'm going back to school if I'm Dante Moore.
Yeah. Speaking of the Jets, my buddy has a college friend that, or a couple college friends that are Jets fans, and she sent us a screenshot. He was at the game. The friend in question was at the game, and sent our buddy a screenshot of sent a screenshot. Now I'm trying to find it, but it was basically saying that there was a guy yelling in the stands that he has better. What was it? You guys keep going. I'm gonna try to find this screenshot.
Okay. So, essentially, why would the Giants trade Dart? It's so stupid. Like I hear it, but for the love of God, why? They better be thanking their lucky stars that they share a building with the New York Jets. Otherwise, nobody would take them seriously. Yeah, like the Jets just a bigger clown show in East Rutherford, and that's probably why nobody or outside of Giants fans dunks on them as much. But the issue here is like why? Like why? I mean, I'm not saying actively tank and throw the game, but then why do you care so much about winning if you're just going to get rid of Dart? And even if you weren't going to, let's just say you're going to keep Dart. You stay at that 1st overall pick, and you can trade back to some QB needy team for an absolute haul if whether Mendoza or Moore is their fancy. This is now the 2nd year in a row or something where the Giants at one point have the 1st overall pick and they just said, no, I'd rather win instead. So yeah, there you have it. Giants gonna giant, man. What do you want?
All
and as far as that goes, you guys did mention that Dante Moore is young. And honestly, wait, is he a junior or is he a sophomore, Tuck?
Sophomore.
You know? Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, if he's a junior, then he should probably come out for the draft, because if you're already good and you've got like a 1st round selection for yourself locked up, then you don't ever stay for your senior year. But if he's a sophomore, honestly, I think it'd be worth avoiding going to the Jets, low-key, or any other terrible team like that, specifically the Jets. So I guess, like I said, my question would be, sorry, Chris, who then becomes QB2? I would imagine it's Ty Simpson because for me, one is Mendoza. Then at a distant second is Simpson in a Dante Moore-less draft. And then everyone else. Then it's like everyone else. Nussmeier was supposed to be good. He's not. Klubnik was supposed to be good. He's not. Lenora Sellers is not coming out this year. Arch Manning, who I don't think is great, but hey, name value, is also not coming out this year. So if you're a QB needy team, womp womp. That's pretty much it. You're getting Mendoza, maybe Simpson, or nothing if Dante Moore doesn't come out, which you never know. He might not. I don't know if he will.
Yeah. I found the screenshot. My friend is at the game and sent a vid of some guy screaming, "The Epstein list is better than our playbook." Jesus fuck, Aaron.
My thing is this, low key. Where will Atlanta finish? Because if they finish
Atlanta right now
they're the 11th pick.
Pending the result for tonight.
Not Atlanta.
It's the Rams.
Not Atlanta. It's the Rams.
Yeah.
So if the Rams will finish with a top 10 pick, watch out, because they can either go D-line or they can go corner or they can go several spots. They might even be able to go receiver and somehow get Carnell Tate. You just never know in these drafts.
I don't know if Carnell Tate falls that far now. Things have been shifting rapidly in the world.
You could also
have him as wide receiver 1, and if that's the case, I don't know if he falls past the Titans.
You could also look at the Colts, and curiosity springs up of how that's going to turn out because the Jets have their pick for next year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
So say the Colts lose, then the Jets may have 2 picks in the top 15.
It's very possible. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Phillip Rivers is not playing. So it is possible since they're playing the Texans.
Yeah.
You might have 2 picks in the top 15, and they could trade up for the number 1 spot.
100%. 100%. Depends if the Raiders are still willing to give Geno Smith another shot.
They won't.
Gets to right
back. I don't know. Like for the Raiders, like I said, I didn't expect them to be good this year. I expect this to be not even like a rebuild, but just a blank slate kind of year where you build yourselves up to be mid, like just you're clearing house, like you're doing everything, right? And you're basically making, and like I said, Pete Carroll is supposed to be a bridge coach to where, where you essentially undo all the damage. You start next year or the next 2 years or whatever, 2 years in the future on a clean slate. And then and then you just hand the baton off to the next head coach so you can draft a dude. But now, I know you said I didn't expect the Raiders to be good, but did anyone expect them to be the worst team in the league with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, like Brock Bowers, Colton Miller, all them? Like, I didn't.
Yeah.
I really did not. I didn't think they were going to be good, but I did not think they were going to be like the worst team in the league.
I think it's crazier too when you look at like who the worst teams, at least in the AFC, like you look at the Raiders, the Jets, and the Titans as the 3 worst, right? And there's just no signs of them feeling like they're getting better. And then you look at the worst, or
I wouldn't go there.
Maybe the Titans.
But like, and their only bright spot was freaking Cam Ward. But you look at like who the worst teams that in the league were supposed to be on the NFC side, and that was the Giants and the Saints. Giants have some bright spots over there, especially Jaxson Dart. They just battled with a bunch of injuries, and the Saints are looking extremely bright right now. We were talking about the joke that the Saints were the best team in the NFC South.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got Unk Shuck down there in the bayou, chucking the football. So hey,
guys, hold on. Do the Browns also have 2 picks right in the first round? So it's the Browns, the Colts, and the Jets that have 2 first round picks.
The Browns have the Jaguars pick, but that's a top 30.
That's going to be great. So I don't know. So what do the Browns do? Do they like go Ty Simpson or? Because look, I don't care how much money you're paying Diddy Watson. Like he's not the answer. He's torn the same Achilles twice. His weirdness aside.
Oh no, they're gonna. They're
Do you really want to go with
Watson's
another year of
Watson-
Shador Sanders or little Dylan Gabriel?
Watson's
Try
contract.
Shador another year. I would
Yeah.
try Shador another year. Give him an actual line to protect him. Trade back. Give him a line to protect him. Either go the tackle from Miami or the tackle from Alabama, and then go from there.
What
Yeah.
about the one from Utah? That one of them might be on the board between Fano and Momu.
Possibly, but I'm expecting them to build on this offense because Shador needs help. Inconsistency from Jerry Jeudy. I like Phantom, but he's injured right now. I like Judkins, who's injured right now. It's like there's potential here from this rookie class, but I need more talent to build on this. And they already have a good defense. I mean, they have Myles Garrett, and they're not getting rid of him. So it's just a matter of getting this offense right. And I think Shador is a good piece for that. And they have the pieces around. They just need to get healthy and add to it.
I
But
think
is this the first time where multiple teams have multiple picks in the first round?
Maybe not ever, but this many. You know, you got the Jets, the Browns, and I think there might be someone else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think the Cowboys.
The Cowboys,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Cowboys had multiple picks?
Yep.
I think
They
they
own
do.
14 and 21.
I thought they
I'm
got
looking
rid
at it
of
right now.
I thought they got rid of it for the Jets because of the because of the Quinn
No, I
Williams.
think that was like a next year's first or something like that.
I'm looking at it right now. It's it must have been a different pick.
He's looking at it right now, Tuck.
Got you. So the way I see it, geez, this is the first time I've seen it going into the draft, not while it's happening during the draft. That's like how I'm
A
seeing
lot of
it.
funny stuff can happen. You never know.
Yeah. But I want to see how teams turn out this draft, especially the Rams, because they're already a playoff team.
Yeah. Week 18, baby. Can't wait.
Mhm.
Anything else? I assume not.
No,
Not until Monday night.
Yeah, besides Monday night. Adam, you look
and
like you want.
bottom three.
Yeah. We'll get to that after the break. This is the Fumblerooski podcast. All right, we're going to get right
my
back into
God.
the action here. Puka Nacua may have just had the catch of the year to set up the Rams in field goal range in the matter of 16 seconds.
Wait, did you see the
Oh,
end
they
of that
called it
play,
in.
Chris?
Oh,
Chris,
no,
wait, no.
no.
Watch the replay. The corner jarred out. That's incomplete.
Yeah.
Watch.
Oh.
Watch. Hauled it in. One
It's out.
hand. 1, 2, still in bounds, and he loses
Oh,
control
he
right
lost
there.
control.
It's
Lost
out.
control. Oh my god.
It's out. It's out.
Jeez.
He
What-
had his
What
hand
a call
on
on
it.
the field. What a call.
Low
on the
key
field.
though,
Wait,
if the
where is this
corner,
play?
if the corner's not there, that's a catch. Had both feet down, one hand in, and the corner just poked it out.
Was that Robert Alford as
Stands
well?
as cold. Yep.
Yeah. Hold up, Tuck. I think you're a little ahead of us. Yeah. Puka, toe drag swag, one hand.
I
I
was
think
about
that
to
is
say.
Robert Alford. Or is
All
it
right.
AJ Taylor?
It's still 4th down though. There's still one more play to go.
Yeah, so
There we
they're
go. Oh my
they're-
God.
5 seconds
So-
left, though. They're going to have to just aim for the sideline, hope they get into field goal range.
they can't get into field goal range in 5 seconds on a deep ball. Like the type of throw that he just made there is their only shot at it.
All right.
Good.
Low key, that was almost, like you said, that was almost catch of the year.
So
That was
basically,
not the best throw from Stafford, but I thought Puka just made an insane grab.
so I just want to preface as well. Rams lose this game, then they are locked into the 6th seed.
Locked into the 6th. They can't move up to the 5th? Oh no, because of the
No,
Because they
because
Raheem Morris
either
called-
Niners or Seahawks.
Timeout to ice Stafford a little bit, right?
yeah. This is very unfortunate.
I don't
That-
care what happens in this game. Raheem Morris should still get canned.
I don't think he should get canned.
I mean, they almost
timeout on the
lost.
field.
They almost lost the game. Like this,
Yeah.
we're gonna go over this game, especially once it's over. But it shouldn't be as close as it was. There
Yeah.
were so many times this game could have been
Yeah.
put away already.
It was like 24-7 at one point, right? Or like
21-0.
21.
Yeah, it was 21 zilch. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 21-0, then 21-3 or 24-3.
Yeah,
And that
Either
field goal
way, it
should
was
have really
21.
iced him, and they didn't take Jared Verse seriously in the interior.
All right.
Mhm.
There's
Here we
the game.
go.
There
4th
it
and
is.
10 with 5 seconds left.
No
Stafford
play
drops
by
back,
play.
looking gonna fall and
Thanks.
incomplete. Ball game.
That's
There
it.
it is.
All right.
All right.
GG's.
So to recap the game, Rams come back down 21. They tied the game, but Falcons game-winning drive from Kirk Cousins to get them in field goal range, put the game away, and a upset win for the Atlanta Falcons, who are now at 7-9. So the Rams had a funny could have done something funny and helped their draft position out for next season.
Yep.
But nope.
Little tidbit of information here too. Now that this happened, because I don't think anyone saw this coming. According to Field Yates, this is some path math here. If the Falcons defeat the Saints in Week 18, the Panthers will win the NFC South regardless of their outcome against the Buccaneers on Sunday.
No way.
On Saturday.
Really?
Yes.
So the Falcons just have to beat New Orleans and the Panthers are in. Is that correct?
Yep.
Wow.
That's crazy. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
No,
Such are the wonders of mathematics. What do you want?
Because I believe that's because that would mean the Buccaneers and Falcons would be around the same record somewhere. I don't have the standings up right now, but the Falcons are 7-9 now.
Yep.
So if they win next week, they're 8-9, which would mean, that's the exact same record as the Buccaneers. So there you go.
The Falcons have the same record as the Bucs, yeah, and they have a better conference record too.
And I believe they have the decision over them.
Well, never mind the
I'm
decision
mistaken.
over. Well, not even that. They split. They split in the 2 games. So the Falcons, just because of the conference record, should technically still be in the fucking playoffs, I guess.
No, they were eliminated.
Yeah, but they're eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Such as such.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So that really makes things interesting for the playoffs. As mentioned, Rams are locked into the 6th spot because even with a loss in Week 18, Packers won't overtake them because of the literal tiebreaker. And they can't move into the 5th spot because the Seahawks and the 49ers both have better division and conference records than them. So with that being said, throughout the night, we were also, of course, paying attention to the MVP odds, and that's where it brings us to Drake Maye at the top. What are the odds as of 11:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday night?
Currently, we have Drake Maye on top. He's taken the lead, and it's been a massive swing. -350. Matthew Stafford is pretty far behind now at +250.
One game.
It's a massive swing based on
Chuck,
that
can you
one
not
game.
be so sour for like once?
No.
This is just how it is, though, Tuck. Like, that it's going to be a massive swing week in and week out. That's how it always is.
One game does it for you?
Yeah.
Especially this late in the season, yeah, it kind of does. Furthermore,
No.
all we hear about is people bitching and moaning about New England's so-called cupcake schedule. Meanwhile, New England beat Atlanta, and the Rams, who are apparently so much better, just didn't.
They also beat the Panthers, who the Patriots, who the Rams couldn't. So, I don't know.
Exactly.
We're getting to that point. I will say,
he might have a better record against common opponents. Now that I think about it, so
we've gotten to a point where, look, I hate these MVP races for one reason, which is that you're naturally going to end up tearing down one of the other candidates. And both of these guys are having unbelievable years. And I have so much respect for Matthew Stafford. It sucks that he had this game. And I wouldn't want this performance to overshadow the season that he had at his age. I mean, it feels like just yesterday where we were questioning whether or not he'd even be available to start the season with that back injury that we thought he had. Remember that? And then he went on, and it's literally at this point in the season, we're at week 17 where he lost the award, and he could gain it back. I mean, who knows? Drake Maye could. I mean, the Dolphins had some struggle, gave the Patriots some struggles the last time they faced each other. Who knows? But as of right now, I mean, 40 plus touchdown passes for a third time in his career. He's a world champion already. If he won the MVP, that would have been insane. And he could still make a deep playoff run. Who knows? They have as good a team as anyone in the NFC. Yeah, look, I don't want to take this moment, even as a Patriots fan, to tear down Matthew Stafford, even after a bad game, because what an unbelievable season and career this guy has had, despite rotting away in Detroit for 12 years. He still managed to turn it into something. But with that being said, Drake Maye doing what he has done with the supporting cast he has, getting the high seed over the guy who can't even win his own division, being in the third, finishing third in his division. There it is. I mean, that's what's going to be the difference maker. Stafford is surrounded by a lot of talent, and he can't get that high seed. That's going to be a big difference maker when it comes to winning this MVP.
Yeah. All around, I mean, when you look at the Rams in general, they really just shot themselves in the foot in all phases of the game. I mean, Bijan Robinson had 195 yards. Like, when you look at this game, Stafford had 3 interceptions. He got sacked 3 times. But at the end of the day, defense also let up 27 points. They did their job and keep giving their offense a chance to make the comeback, make that 21-point comeback in the second half. But you shouldn't have to against Atlanta. You shouldn't have to, especially when you're supposed to be a very good defense as well. But then you don't show up. But at the end of the day, quarterback play didn't help you here. I do agree with you, Adam, in the sense that, you know, when you look at this game, Stafford has had an amazing career, and there's nothing to take away from that. But sometimes one bad, like, see it in college all the time, not to make that type of comparison, but like one bad game ruins Heisman performance or a Heisman race.
I mean, he could still get it back. But,
oh yeah, 100%. I think the problem is, though, now that they're locked into this 6th seed, but they may as well just rest everyone next week.
Are they locked into the 6th seed? I haven't gotten to look that closely.
Because, like, even if they lose another game, they still have a tiebreak, the literal tiebreaker against the Packers, and then they don't have better division or conference records than Seattle or San Francisco, or San Francisco, because San Francisco has is 1 game back of Seattle. So Seattle, if they were to lose, they would just have the 5 seed, and that's it. San Francisco can still lose and not lose the 5 seed.
Yeah. It would have been a great addition to his resume.
Oh yeah.
As far as, I mean, you're a world champion and you managed to win a league MVP, all again after rotting away for 12 years in Detroit. That would have been great for him. And he still has more years. Who knows? He's going to have Puka Nacua next year. Who knows what they're going to do with Devontae Adams. But, you know, quarterbacks can play deep into their 30s and in some very rare cases into their 40s. So it may not be over just yet for him.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that's the next question, though. Do we see the Rams actually starting all their guys next week? Or do we see them starting them for like a drive and then pulling them?
It depends. It's not impossible, but they can still get the 5 seed. It depends on what they see. If they think they're not going anywhere, I would
They're-
rest the guys.
They're not though. They're not. There's no way for them to get the 5 seed. Like based off the
Either-
records alone, they can't.
Yeah, you're right. I think they're stuck at the 6th seed.
They are.
Or
No,
they-
they can't
Trust me,
win the division. Like they can't go up. They can't even get worse.
So yeah, they can just rest their guys
Would-
at this point.
Yeah, like logistically, there's no reason to start them. Think about it. Do you really want to roll the dice? I mean, you have nothing to gain but everything to lose. I think they'll put them in for a drive or two and then sit them.
Yeah, I
But
like that.
my thing is, who are they going to face? Would you rather face Philly or Chicago right now?
They don't. Either way, they don't have a choice.
But if I'm true, but I would rather face Philly right now, considering how they played against Buffalo, than facing Chicago and how they played against the 49ers.
Well, when you think about it too, LA is almost beaten Philly like 2 years in a row. hard to
Almost
beat.
is happening, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
Philly
but
doesn't look
it's
like
a
Philly right now.
Buffalo offense, so consider that.
Philly doesn't look like Philly of last year, so I think the Rams could easily beat them.
nor the Philly of week 3 or whenever that game was earlier this season.
Yeah,
Fair
Another
enough.
game of the year candidate, by the way.
yeah. The Rams are going to be a tough out regardless. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Even though Chicago seems to be playing with house money right now, I would say that somehow, like if you fall to the 3 seed, just you can't take the Rams lightly. Even though they're locked into the 6 seed, they're still considered, and by many people, Super Bowl favorites, and rightfully so.
I mean, like, who else in that conference is? Again, I've already raised earlier in this episode my reservations for the Seahawks given Sam Darnold. And I also did the same thing kind of for the 49ers when talking about Brock Purdy. So who else if not them? And I think the Bears are just too young. And I think Caleb Williams isn't there just yet. Why not Stafford? He's the most seasoned guy in that entire playoff picture. I just think, and they have the complete team. They have the defense. They have the offensive weapons. I mean, yeah, they might be having to go on the road, but I don't think there's a quarterback in this playoff picture I would trust more to go on the road and win playoff games than Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
True.
All right, let's move on. Week 17, top 3, bottom 3. Start with the top 3. Texans, massive win against the Chargers on Saturday night. Defense was going gangbusters once again. And most importantly, you have headway on the 5 seed and a chance to go and win the division in week 18. Niners, basically same idea, but this time just winning in a shootout against a Chicago Bears team that is proven as a top team in this league. By the way, a division champ that they beat. What?
Nothing. Like I just saw it. They can still get the 5th seed. They can still get that because they're only 11-5.
The Rams?
Yes. Because there's still a game in hand.
You're not listening to what I'm saying. The Rams have a worse divisional record than the 49ers, and they have a worse conference record than the 49ers by 3 games. Even if the Niners and the Rams were to tie in division record by the end of week 18, the Rams still have a shit conference record.
Chris, I am telling you right now what is reported. If the Rams win on Sunday and the 49ers lose on Saturday, they are in the 5th spot.
How?
That is
I don't get that.
with the win and a loss. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how they got it, but that's the position they're in. They can still get it, but that's just how it goes.
I guess I just don't understand tiebreakers anymore. All right. Whatever.
Me neither.
Because I know didn't they change them like a few years ago or whatever?
I thought they were always based off of like division and conference record, and then we go into
Wait, no, never mind. I was thinking
importantly,
about
head-to-head, of course.
tiebreakers for the draft that they changed a bit ago. Never mind.
Yeah, it's head most importantly, of course, but like also comes down to division record and conference record. And then you get into strength of schedule, strength of victory, and then you get into a bunch of other shit.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's head-to-head record is one of the top tiebreakers as far as playoff seeding.
It is.
That is weird.
And the Rams have split. The Rams and the Niners
split.
both split.
Maybe margin of victory combined between the two.
Ooh. You would be correct about that because that would go to the Rams by 13. All right.
It also might be record in common games. I know that's a big one.
Yeah. All right. You know what? All right. Tuck, I'm sorry for yelling at you.
It's fine.
I'm sorry for chastising you, man. That was rude, man.
That's what was reported on by the announcers, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. So
I don't have the TV on, so I also haven't been looking. All right. 49ers. Still in the 5 seed, win a big game on prime time against the top team in the NFC, and you have yourself a chance at winning the division next Saturday night. Baltimore. Still alive, and John Harbaugh learned his lesson and gave Derrick Henry the ball 36 times, and boy did it work out. Tuck, what was it? Did he tie or break Adrian Peterson's record?
Broke it. He has 7 games with over 200 yards rushing. It used to be 6. He used to be tied. Now it's 7.
Thank you, Tuck.
You're welcome.
That was beautiful. But hey, you know what? Congrats to you because you have a chance at winning the AFC North and not shooting yourself in the eye for an extra week.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what happens Sunday, and then we can go from there.
Okay. Bottom 3. Do we still want to do Rams for bottom 3 here?
We can add them and make it a bottom 4.
Yeah, let's just make it a bottom 4 because there was some performances that were just unbelievable in terms of how do you let that happen type of thing. Like the first team on the new bottom 4, the first ever bottom 4, the Lions, and season's on the line, backs against the wall, and you lose to the Vikings. Against a Max Brosmer-led Vikings. No disrespect to the UNH guy, but, I mean, unbelievable. Yeah. Max Brosmer, I'm pretty sure, is the first quarterback. I could have this extremely wrong, but the first quarterback with 53 yards and still getting a win in, quite a long time. Let's call it the first time ever. And 51 yards, 9 for 16 passing. Unbelievable. 161 total yards. And you lost. Let's have that difficult conversation about Detroit next week, or on Friday, I should say.
It's just been a bad year.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think this is really just back-to-back seasons of hell on earth with the injuries. But anyways, the Bills, next team on the bottom 4. They lost to Philly by 1. Bad weather in Buffalo. You'd think that, this bodes well for Buffalo. But no, it does not. And it doesn't help when, defense shut out Philly in the second half. Jalen Hurts was over 7. The offense had 8 total yards. And yet Josh Allen is making these boneheaded plays. They ended up scoring 12 in the 4th, credit. But, I mean, when your quarterback is scrambling around for a 16-yard loss to get you out of field goal range, there's a fucking problem. On America's Game of the Week against the reigning defending Super Bowl champs, there's a problem. That's a problem. That's a sign that your quarterback is saying to himself he needs to do too much to get a win. And that's been the problem for Buffalo the last 3 years. Steelers. They had a chance. They to.
Yes, they did.
All they had to do was win. That's literally all they had to do was win.
Beat Cleveland and you win. That's all.
Beat
you have.
Cleveland. And they only put up 6 points and lost.
Because, of course, when you expect them to do very well, they pissed their pants when they absolutely shouldn't.
Yeah.
Did you see what they kind of did though? Like they were. It seemed that Rodgers, Tomlin, and the Steelers were a lot more, just by the way they played, they were a lot more focused on keeping Myles Garrett from getting the single season sack record than he was at actually, like winning the game and winning their division.
Yeah, like at that, I get it's your division rival, but who gives a fuck at that point? Who gives a fuck?
Especially with the game on the line coming up next week. If you lose, God forbid, you can't rest your starters now.
Yeah, that is something that I noticed. A lot of Browns fans were saying about how, like, you guys put the nail right on the head there. The Steelers literally diverted more energy, attention, and effort to keeping Myles Garrett from breaking the record than winning the game, and it showed. Like, congratulations, you've inconvenienced him, and if he does get it, low-key, it might have to get an asterisk because he happened in 17 games. That's a debate for another time if it happens. But you lost the war. Now, like, if you won this, you were in the playoffs. It was win and you're in, and now you're going to have to face a hungry Baltimore team that just beat Green Bay in probably what I would expect to be a very ugly game.
It's going to be so ugly, and it's going to be so violent, and it's going to be so amazing on Sunday Night Football. But it's going to be so heartbreaking to whoever's team loses that game. It's just not only do you win the series, you also have like bragging rights because you just eliminated your best rival, your fiercest rival. And it's like all they had to do was win this game. That's all they had to do. The Browns put up 13 points and they couldn't beat that. They put up 20-something against the Lions, and this is the game you cannot lose, and they lose. Just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Last team on the bottom four, the Rams. Coming into this week, depending on some of the other results from the Seahawks and the Niners, of course, they still had a chance of maybe winning the division. Granted, the Seahawks and the Niners both won, so the Rams weren't gonna have a chance of winning the division when this week ended anyways. But you really shot yourself in the freaking foot doing so. I mean, what a way to do it. Your division rivals win, and you decide you wanted to make life harder for you, and then you'll lose by 3 to the Atlanta Falcons and let Bijan run for 219 on your ass. That's your top 3. Bottom 4, first ever bottom 4. Anything else we wanted to add before we end the show?
Nah, nothing more for the show.
I have posts to make.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, start making that freaking meme, brother.
Is this your king?
Is this your king? Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Pal. You had a good run.
Great run. Yeah, going to be interesting to see how the rest of this season plays out, including week 18. Most important games, as we were talking about, of course. NFC South Division Championship, 4:30 on Saturday. San Francisco, Seattle, 8 o'clock for the NFC West. And for the AFC North on Sunday night, the Steelers and the Ravens.
Yep.
And some other matchups that'll decide, of course, the AFC South. But unfortunately, the Jaguars and the Texans already played twice. All right. Time to call it a night. Thank you for tuning in for another Tuesday episode of the Fumblerooski podcast. New episodes coming out on Friday at 8 a.m. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we also have all our episodes available on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and so much more. Be sure to follow our Instagram, Fumblerooski_podcast, to keep up the pod and the latest coverage on the NFL. Otherwise, from CJ Medeiros, Adam Wright, Justin Tucker, we'll see you on Friday. I'm Chris Costich, by the way. Happy birthday to me, by the way. Happy birthday to me. I lost in 2 of my fantasy football championships.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks. Good night. See you Friday.
Happy birthday.